I'm standing outside John Lewis here in Blue Water, only to be made aware of the situation of a British Gravesend girl called Brooke George, who's been detained in the UAE and has been targeted as a criminal when she was defending herself.
A 23-year-old former retail worker from Kent sits inside a Middle Eastern holding cell, awaiting a legal process that could end with her facing a firing squad. She is currently accused of premeditated murder, but she maintains she is a survivor of domestic coercion who acted to save her own life. Brooke George travels to the United Arab Emirates in the early summer to visit a man she recently met through social media dating platforms. The trip begins as the continuation of a nascent romance with a 26-year-old British expatriate named William Treby. He presents a lifestyle of high-end security and financial success, driving a Rolls-Royce, arranging a professional beach photo shoot, and taking her to luxury venues. This creates an impression of career opportunity and personal safety. She returns to the United Kingdom and tells her mother she has found a partner who wants to build a future with her, prompting her to pack her bags for a return flight to the region. But when she arrives in Dubai weeks later for this second visit, the dynamic immediately shifts. The luxury facade disappears.
Tommy.
Come on!
Troll tactics. George claims she finds herself isolated inside his apartment for long hours while he is away. When they do go out to local bars or restaurants, she reports feeling closely monitored by his associates, preventing her from moving freely. According to statements from the advocacy group detained in Dubai, Treby confiscates her passport shortly after she lands, effectively removing her ability to leave the country on her own terms. The situation escalates further when she discovers a logistical barrier that cements her isolation. She realizes her travel arrangements only include a one-way ticket, preventing her from simply walking away and boarding a commercial flight home. Her family back in the UK begins to notice the severe change in her demeanor, receiving a video call where she is reportedly crying uncontrollably, visibly terrified, and displaying bruising around her eyes. Her mother, Teresa George, later states her daughter was in a state of sheer panic, recognizing she was trapped in a foreign jurisdiction without resources. On the night of the fatal incident, an argument breaks out in the apartment. George alleges that Treby becomes physically violent, preventing her from leaving the unit. She tells authorities she retreats to the kitchen area and picks up a knife strictly to defend herself against an immediate physical threat. During the ensuing altercation, Treby is fatally wounded by a knife strike. George manages to retrieve her confiscated passport, leaves the apartment, and makes her way directly to Dubai International Airport to escape. She reaches the terminal and attempts to board a flight out of the United Arab Emirates, believing she is fleeing an abuser. Airport authorities intercept her before she can pass through immigration control. Instead of returning to Kent, she is detained and informed that the local justice system does not view her as a victim fleeing for her life, but as a primary suspect attempting to flee a crime scene. She is transported to the Dubai police station, where the procedural reality of the Emirati legal system begins to unfold. She's placed in a communal cell with numerous other women, sleeping on a mattress on the floor for weeks without direct access to funds or independent legal counsel. During the initial processing, George is handed documents written entirely in Arabic. She cannot read the language, yet authorities expect her to sign these official statements. Campaigners report she is subjected to search procedures conducted by male officers without a female officer present, a protocol she describes as deeply humiliating and disorienting. Despite these physical conditions, her primary obstacle is the structural difference between British and Emirati courts. Under local law, the distinction between self-defense and murder carries the highest possible stakes, and the evaluation process differs significantly from the United Kingdom. The Dubai legal framework operates without a jury, meaning a panel of state judges will independently determine the verdict based heavily on initial police reports and signed statements. Former UK detectives and legal experts note that such courts heavily scrutinize self-defense claims. The fact that the accused attempted to flee the jurisdiction through an airport, rather than immediately contacting local law enforcement to report an assault, creates a severe procedural hurdle for her defense team. Because she is facing a premeditated murder charge, a conviction allows for the death penalty, typically executed by a firing squad. With time running short before trial proceedings officially advance, her family faces an intense financial and diplomatic battle. The British Foreign Office confirms they are in contact with her family and are providing standard consular support. But they emphasize that local laws and local police protocols must run their course without foreign political interference. This leaves the family reliant on private advocacy and public fundraising. Her mother launches a public campaign to secure a specialist defense lawyer who can navigate the complexities of the UAE courts and, crucially, communicate with George in English. Without proper legal representation, she remains unable to formally submit her narrative of domestic coercion to the panel of judges. Detained in Dubai, the organization acting on her behalf,
I'm standing outside John Lewis here in Blue Water, only to be made aware of a situation of a British Gravesend girl called Brooke George, who's been detained in the UAE and has been targeted as a criminal when she was defending herself. She's a 23-year-old young girl, guys. She went to Dubai with her boyfriend, who apparently had another girlfriend, and, well, that doesn't matter anyway. The fact is, it's really serious. They are going to sentence, or that she has been sentenced. Now, we all know that the UAE discriminates and criminalizes women who report violence. Anyone that reports anything against the UAE for any reason, they get punished. And that's what's happening to Brooke George, guys. I need you to share this. I need you to shout and scream and reach whoever needs to be reached, that we need justice, and we need it now for Brooke George. She's a 23-year-old young, influential girl who was sold a dream by a man, and that's exactly what it turned into. The opposite. A nightmare. And she's currently detained in the UAE. Her parents are urging for her to come back whilst the trial happens. It's not the right circumstances. You know, the thing is they look at women dressed like this and they don't give them the time of day. They treat them like trash, and that's a fact. Because I'm sorry, Hayati, make money make sense and the rest, and I will say it as it is, and that is a fact. The women that go to Dubai can be mistreated just because they're being judged for being cheap. This will probably get a hell of a lot more respect, and factually it does happen, unfortunately. So anyway, point is not that. The point is got nothing to do with the women themselves. It's the justice and the discrimination and the support that this young girl needs from every person here in the UK. So I'm gonna tag her account.
Continues to lobby the authorities, formally requesting bail and urging Dubai investigators to review the electronic communications and physical evidence from the weeks leading up to the stabbing. They argue the bruising and the FaceTime calls prove a pattern of abuse that validates her self-defense claim. As the investigation progresses toward a formal hearing, both families wait for the judicial system to dictate the next phase. The deceased's relatives, including his mother Karen and sister Esther, publicly mourn the sudden loss of their family member and await the court's judgment. Meanwhile, George remains incarcerated, waiting to learn if the foreign court will accept her account of survival or issue a fatal sentence. Subscribe to Women of Malice for more cases like this. See you on our next case.